What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of All Things Conscious with your host, C and Shawna. This week, we will be talking about telepathy. What is telepathy? How can you recognize telepathy? How to use it? All of the above. Very exciting. I know y'all ready for it, so let's get into it.
All right. One of my favorite subjects, anything magical is like my thing. And telepathy. How many people recognize that they can use this? Um, what telepathy? Like, okay, when I say how do you recognize it? How many people out there have had somebody pop in their mind, right? And then all of a sudden they call them. That's a form of telepathy, right? Me and her, we do this all the time. We do it all the time. It's like, oh, I know she's gonna call me. I used to mess around with my friends. They pop in my head. I would just text them, yes, question mark. Yeah, I was just thinking about you. I know. But I mean, also you can recognize when your loved ones are coming in and trying to talk to you because they pop in your mind. That means that they're there. And whatever images are coming into your mind, that's how they're trying to communicate with you. Some people don't believe in telepathy, but that's okay because we know it's real. And why is it real? Because it's our first language, the language of the mind. I was telling C, as like before we come to this earth, and all we are is energy, we still can communicate with other energetic beings, other light beings, and we do that through telepathy. See?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not down with the spooky stuff, but telepathy is real to me. It's very real to me. I said in one other video, I believe, I was having a bad day, and I was just like, I was in my mind. I was like, Shauna, I know you can hear me. I was like, dude, just call me, cause I just didn't want to disturb her. She didn't want to talk and all that. So 5 seconds later, what's up? I was like, what the heck? And my aunt is bad about doing that all the time. My aunt, my oldest aunt in the family, I'll think about her literally. And then all of a sudden, hey, I was just checking on you. I said, I know. I knew you were gonna call ways. What's up? Or like when I'm having a bad day. My cousin passed away suddenly 2 years ago. And if I'm having a bad day or if I'm doubting my path or if anything is going on, I put a bird on the back of my truck, right? And I got a bird. They gave me his army trunk to remember him by, and I put a bird on that one, so it's like two eagles matching. And so when I'm going through something bad or when something's going wrong, I'll see like the same bird that I have on the back of my truck. Or like one day I was driving and I was getting doubtful and I was getting sad and I was like, I know it'll be okay or whatever. And guess why I knew it would be okay? My cousin's initials popped up on a bridge. And for the life of me, I tried to find that bridge again. I could not find it. And I was like, what the world? You just gave me a sign. You just talked to me out of nowhere just to let me know that, hey, cuz you got this. So it is very true. And it's way deeper than that too. Like you can feel when somebody's even sending you energy, right, Shauna? I mean, if you're just we I'm not gonna get into that because that'll be a whole nother conversation, but certain people put into our heads, right? And we're like, can you please focus your thoughts on something else? Because we can literally feel it. We can feel you thinking these things about us. We can feel this. Can you focus your energy on something else?
Yeah, but think about it. We're not the only, we're not the only beings. Animals use telepathy to speak to each other. And they always say when you're training your pet, picture in your mind what you want him to do. Now, I have tested this with my dog, Slash, right? In my mind, I told him to lay down, and he laid down. Slash, come here, in my mind. And he came over there and sat next to me. Slash, give me your paw. He gave me his paw. I said nothing verbally, but everything was in my head. And they are so sensitive. And that's how animals communicate with one another. So if you want to communicate better with your pet, just visualize it what you want them to do in your mind, and it works. You practice. You can practice with your pets, and you can speak to animals that way. And birds, you can speak to birds outside. You can speak to a horse, any animal, mammal. It doesn't matter. That's how they communicate. And I think it's beautiful. And we just chose this subject because everybody has this gift and ability. There's no person out in the world that doesn't have this. They just don't recognize it. And you can now start putting it to practice, right? Because everybody knows or has this, that when somebody's going to call them, and that's just like the basic form, and you can practice with that. You know, when somebody's thinking about you, you can reach out to them too. As soon as someone pops in your mind, be like, hey, were you thinking about me? And they'll be like, yeah, matter of fact, I was. Because they are sending you their energy. They are, anytime somebody talks about you or speaks about you, sometimes more, well, for us, because we understand it and we use it every single day, that when people are in your mind, they are thinking about you. If you can't get them out of your mind, they're thinking about you nonstop.
And you know, a lot of people say, "Oh, that's not true. That's not true." Man, do you know how powerful your mind is? Like,
Mm-hmm.
especially because I be telling her all the time, I just be chilling. That's my favorite catch line. I just be chilling. And if I'm just chilling and you pop into my head out the blue, come on. A lot of people be like, "Oh no," I be seeing all these people on TikTok, the dream interpreters, the thought interpreters, or whoever they are. Oh no, that's just a misconception. Our minds are so powerful that I can think of you and you can think of me and call me.
Yes.
And you mean to tell me you think that it don't work when somebody's thinking of you, or when somebody's speaking their will against you, or somebody's doing all of these things, that you're not gonna catch that? We're energy. That's why we're energy. We're more powerful.
Higher light beings speak telepathic to you. They are higher. You don't need to speak with your lips like when you pray, but you know, people do speak with prayer. Sometimes I pray out loud, sometimes I don't, but they hear you regardless because you're putting it in your mind to communicate with them. Um, Galactic beings, I was telling C that, you know, I see and talk with galactic beings and I see them in my mind. Of course, I can also see them outside my mind. But, you know, I do see and angels and spirit guides and stuff like that. So they're not blah 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 blah, you know, they're talking to me, or they're sending me pictures so I can understand, um, you know, so we can have a conversation. And also, like psychic mediums, I don't label myself with any of those things, but they get it telepathically. It comes to them. It comes as a feeling. It comes as a picture. It comes as a voice in the back. You will hear it in the back, and it's always positive.
Okay, another way to explain telepathy is how when you're about to do something and something, or you're about to go somewhere, and we always use this phrase, something told me not to go. Something told me to go. Something told me to take a different route. Something told me. There's something that told you is your higher self speaking to you.
Because we are one,
Yeah.
one energetic. We're still connected to source. We're always connected to source. That's how we can speak through our mind to others, because
Yeah.
we're all connected on this energetic stream or web. You know, we have our own energetic internet, just to, to call it something.
Yeah.
Um, Practice it. Like practice it with your family, because you're more connected with your soul family that you came
Hmm.
in the world with, and like mother's intuition, telepathy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
That's crazy you said that. My mom does that all the time. If I'm sick or something, because I'm such a mama's baby, man. Or if I'm not feeling well, she'll call me, "What's wrong with you?" I was like, "What? I didn't even
uh,
call you." Like,
she can feel it. She
yeah.
Because you're connected, and you know, so mom, if you have a child, you already can experience this. You say, you know, it's mother intuition, your psychic intuition, your sixth sense. This is all forms of telepathy. I would really love to hear people's comments. So please comment below on your experiences with telepathy, or, you know, not just the phone ringing and you knew the person popped in your mind. That is just how you can recognize it. But you can really, really develop your telepathy by practicing.
Yeah. And practice positively. Don't be out here sending people negative stuff, because what you put. will
because that's
come.
and that will come back on you.
Yeah, definitely.
But especially with the pets, I mean, I really enjoy speaking, be able to speak to my pets this
Hmm.
way, and they understand me a lot better. We have a better relationship because they're their own little beings with their own little feelings, and they can let you know what's going on with them just by, I want to say listening, but it's like listening with your third eye, in your mind, just listening in your mind.
Man, I'm really excited about this subject because it's just proof of how powerful we really are and how much importance that we bring to the world. And just it's just amazing because you got to think about it. We are way more powerful on the inside than the outside. That's why we keep telling you to heal. That's why we keep telling you to reprogram your mind, because your mind is the key. It is the literal key to everything. You don't, like she said, you don't have to say a word. You ain't got to say a word. You more powerful in here.
Yeah.
In here.
You see some TikTok videos where people will be like, I'm thinking of a number, I have a color in my hand, what is it? And you can practice, that's like intuition, practice it. But telepathy is the same thing, because if they're thinking about it in their mind and you're picking up what they're thinking, that's more than just intuition, that's telepathy. And I, I have friends that are not on the spiritual path, and I every single time I can get them by yes. And sometimes they won't tell you because God knows what they're thinking about. But I mean, sometimes they don't want to tell you they were thinking about you or whatever. I'm like, you okay? Or like you popped in. I'll say this: you popped in my mind. Are you all right? You
Yeah,
know.
that's what I do. Like I was telling you the other day, I was thinking about my cousin, and so I texted her, and I was like, "Hey, something told me to text my cousin because I was gonna ask her about something, but then someone was like, no, just check on her." I followed that advice. I followed that intuition. I followed that beep beep beep, that download, that telepathy, right? I followed that, and it turned out that she wasn't okay. And I was like, well, it was meant for me to check on you, because sometimes you're just
But don't confuse intuition and telepathy,
yeah,
because you intuitively you felt her in your mind. You felt that you got that I need help communication, or I am down communication coming to you, and then you intuitively followed that. But they're separate things.
yeah. That's what I was actually gonna say after that. That's crazy, but I was gonna talk about not getting intuition and your and telepathy mixed up, because I think that telepathy is just a form of communication, right? It's just literally speaking without speaking.
Mm-hmm.
But intuition is, like she said, the mother's intuition. I know something is wrong. Like when me, I knew something was wrong with my cousin, or like when, for instance, when I was driving one day, I do furniture for a living. I do upholstery and stuff, and something told me to check the straps on the back of my truck. Did I listen? No. Did everything fall off of my truck on the highway? Yes. Thank God that no one got hurt.
Yeah.
But I did not follow my intuition. I did not follow the signs and synchronicities. Like when I say they
Listen to the voice in your head. You did not listen to that
when I
wrong.
say they bombarded me with angel numbers, I got so many in like an hour, and I was like, I'm ready to go home. I'm tired because I had been out all day. They was like, all right, cool, go ahead then. But they protected me still, which I'm grateful for. But that's just another example of how not to get them mixed up. I'm sure you got more examples, Shawna.
I speak to people who have already transitioned. So yeah, I mean, there. If it's in your mind, if you don't like spooky stuff, so I'm not gonna say anything spooky, but I deal with all kinds of entities and all kinds of clients. So if you, I have literally described the thing that's in somebody's house before, because it was talking to me, and it'll pop in my head what it is. And like I said, with angelic beings, light beings, or people who have transitioned, or when they pop in your head, they're talking to you. So pay attention and don't disregard it as, oh, whatever. No, I mean, sometimes they're just giving you a pat on the back. Sometimes they're giving you a warning, and you got to, don't be paranoid, if something, but like, see, you don't want to lose everything on the highway because you're not listening or paying, or just brushing it off like, nah, it's just my
Mm-hmm.
imagination. You know what is the imagination? The imagination is something that, it's like a sphere or a place that cannot be described. And to me, there is no such thing as the imagination, because we are always creating, we are co-creators, and we are always creating things from, and speaking, and in through other dimensions and other multiverses. So when we dismiss a child and say, oh, they have an active imagination, you're really doing a disservice to that child by, calling it an imagination or imaginary friend, because you are afraid, um, because children are very gifted and they're very sensitive. And another thing I wanted to say is that how we can see, but we don't see, like, you can see more than you bring in more than you really are aware of in your physical sight. Our spiritual sight, you don't even need your eyes, you see everything, all 360 degrees, top, bottom, left, right. And we also use all our sensory to feel other people's energy. We feel energy. We feel it in our own energetic um, space. And it's not just, we don't just have energy aura here, although people see it, art is expansive. It could be 20 feet, 10 feet, 15 feet, 30 feet, depending on how much energy, or how much in our power or energy we're exuding. And anybody that walks in our energy field is picking that up. It's
Yeah.
it's sensory. We have sensory. We're empathic. We have sensory overload from energies, but in that energy, we are reading everything about it. We're like a computer, and we can pick up things in other people's energy field. We can pick up what people are thinking in their mind. We can do so much more than we are all consciously aware of. That's why you need to be conscious of what's going on.
So no, just to piggyback off of what you said, for sure. Like it is so much more. That's why I'm for the kiddos, man. I don't know. I tell Shawna all the time. I love kids. I am. I might as well be an advocate for children, for letting children be themselves, for letting them choose, for letting them stand in their power even at a young age, for letting them be who they want to be and choose their own path at a young age, to be able to feel their feelings and express themselves in a healthy way. Because
Conscious parenting. That's
yeah,
being a
because I didn't get that and I want better for my kids. And when I was a teacher, that why are you feeling this way? What's going on? All of these things. And so like she said, it's very important that um we don't I don't I imagination is just another word for creative center to me, because if you can think it, we were talking about this the other day, if you can think it, it's already been done. If you can think it, it's already been done, because we are one with the universe. We are constantly creating. People be like, oh, I gotta manifest. You're already manifesting. You are already doing all of
That's
that.
the next subject, about the pressure of manifestation,
Yeah,
trying to manifest.
that
Pretty cool.
next episode we might look. But yeah, you're already actively doing all of these things because you're thinking it. So that's putting energy out there, right? And so when these kids come back and be like, oh, I got an imaginary friend, 9 times out of 10, that's Bob who done passed away. And Bob is just playing with your daughter, to be real. And I know people don't like to hear stuff like that, or it's a past loved one that's just coming back to visit. Because when I was younger, I could see stuff too. Thank God, but not anymore. But no, I could see stuff in my granddad. I never met my granddad before, but I never even looked at that picture. And I was asleep. I woke up one morning before school, and it was sunny outside. and I saw this man dressed head to toe in a brown suit, brown hat, brown cane. I said, Mom, I went to my mom. I said, Mama, a man came to see me. She said, because my mom could see stuff too, my aunt too. But anyways, so she said what he looked like. And I described him, and she said, "Oh, there's your granddaddy coming to meet you because he probably ain't seen you." And like I said, when I go through stuff, my cousin comes to me. My grandma come to me in so many dreams. When my grandma comes, I know she mean business. She like, hey, get it together, get it together, get it together. But when my cousin comes, it's more nurturing. Like if I'm sad, he'll come to me. If I'm feeling discouraged, he'll come to me. But my grandma, she's stern with it. Get it together. Get it
You know,
together.
how sad is it for people who think that when people die, transition, that they just stay up in heaven and don't do anything?
Please
They,
don't get
a
me started.
place, I wouldn't call it heaven, but it's they're busy. They stay busy. They're in a school. There's so many things going on in the higher realms, and it takes some time. They go through a process like a what is that word when you kind of detoxify from this human experience, and they go through like a rest period after they leave here. And It's kind of like you go sit in front of like a board almost, and like, well, what did you learn, and how did you affect this person, and you're shown how you affected other people. And so it's but people need to just pay attention when their loved ones come and what they say to them. And they're not saying, you don't need your ears, you don't need your mouth. You can just speak to them through the mind. Actually, you're speaking through your heart's mind. And I mean, it's not your imagination, and don't brush it off.
No. I mean, because you got to look at it too. I say this all the time in my TikTok videos, but do you know how many thoughts you get a day? You are the observer of your thoughts. Every thought that you get is not your own. Well, join us next week for another exciting episode where we will talk about the pressures of manifesting. So we'll see y'all next time. Love y'all.